everybody. I'm here with Richard Kimball. It's November 4th, day after election, and we're bringing in the corn. Richard, what do you call this farm?
We call this a school ground.
This is the school ground.
It belongs
farm.
to the West Liberty High School, the old school building.
And you can see,
they sold it then.
you can see here, that's the ball field, and of course the grain elevator. We've got an Abro head and a John Deere.
Hydraulic folded head.
Yeah, this is the head that we captured in the other video, and it shows, or it folds up so it can go down the road without being removed. It does it all with the steering wheel and the joystick. So we're running about 230 bushel, I see.
Well, you don't believe everything you see.
I gotcha. About 20% moisture.
Yep, that's pretty close. Yeah.
It's amazing it can do it that quick.
Yes.
We can see the quick.
Well, it keeps doing it as we're going through the field. It takes a sample out of the elevator that's bringing it up to the bin. Samples and all. It changes as we go through the field.
When you first start farming, we have a 2-row corn picker? Or?
We had 2-row corn picker, yes. Before that, when I first started, my dad had a 1-row corn picker.
1-row corn picker?
1-row, new idea. That's what we pick corn with.
And what year did you get your first self-propelled combine?
That would have been along in the 60s. I'd say the 64, 5, somewhere in the mid-60s.
Did they make pull-behind tractor combines, or was it just corn pickers?
They made combines, pull-behind combines. That's the way everything was until they come out with self-propelled. They had come out self-propelled several years before we bought one. My dad bought one. Our first one was a Massey Ferguson 300. Oh boy, we thought we had the top of the line machine.
And you could do how many acres a day back then?
Oh, you get by 20, 25 acres. You've done a wonderful day. It had a 13-foot grain head on it and a 2-row corn head.
And today, if you were really going at it, if everything was running good, how many acres can you pick or get with the combine for corn?
Corn, you could get 50, 60.
And beans?
With a grain cart where you're unloading on the go. You'd have to have several semis to keep the corn away from you.
And beans?
Beans, you can do 100 with no problem. 100 acres a day.
What caused this here? I noticed
water.
it from...
Water.
I thought so. I noticed it from the air.
Yes. That waterway dumps out a lot of water. Those cattywampus across the field here, comes down over there by the tallest trees in that line. There's a culvert there that goes underneath the railroad track.
Sure have a good field of view in this cab.
Yes, they get better as they get newer.
It's downright comfortable too.
They done away with big corner posts so you couldn't see. The first cabs had a lot of big area there. Would block your view to the head. Now this here screen blocks your view. Anything you can move it back and forth. That little buzzer there tells me that the grain tank is 3/4 full.
I see that. When did the lights flash?
When that when that buzzer come on, the lights are flashing.
So if you see a combine in the field with this flashing lights, he didn't forget to turn them off. That's to let the grain cart driver know he's full.
Right. They blink. They're not on continuous when it's 3/4 full. When the grain tank is completely full, the swerve lights are on continuously.
normal would be?
Yes.
About what speed would be
We're
normal?
running right at 4 mile an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
About the same as planting?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, I plant a little faster. I plant about 5.
Uh-huh.
But everything feeds in nice at about 4, so
Do you use an 8-row planter or a 16-row?
we go to 16 rows.
Uh-huh.
It's a splitter planter,
Yeah.
where we plant 16 corn and 32 soybeans.
Gotcha.
15-inch row of soybeans. We went to that, when did we go to that? A couple years ago. This is a second, third year, I forget now. This is the third year on the planter.
I noticed as the rows get shorter, the yield gets higher and you're full the same.
Yes.
Get to the end.
You see that too. Yeah.
I noticed that.
Because we've lost what, 150, 200 feet.
Yes, sir.
In
But
length.
you're still filling it.
Yeah, they're still full. We're going to unload it in a grain cart because the trucks are all full.
Uh-huh. Can you see around me, Richard?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, I'll stay put.
I don't remember how many bushels it unloads a minute, but a lot. If you miss the grain cart, there's a big pile on the ground. If you miss the truck,
You need a shovel there.
yes,
So you try not to plant with the combine.
yes, but it happens.
You just hope nobody sees it or videos it.
Yeah, nobody videos it. There you go. Guys with video cameras like to do that.
No, they want to be famous on YouTube, aren't they?
But it happens to everybody.
Well, that didn't take long, did it?
No, it did not. The grain tank.
Richard was telling me about how a lot of the front end of the snouts is plastic, and he's going to explain why that might be.
Well, they used to be steel snouts, and they don't slide as easy as a plastic snout. Slide, I mean, the corn don't slide in as easy on steel as it does on the plastic. And the plastic will give a little if you hit something, like a rock in the field, or if you don't turn right and catch the corner snout on the fence post or tree. The plastic snouts is a good improvement, put it that way.
And they last several years.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, unless you bust them up some way, I don't know. They last the life of the machine, you know,
Uh-huh.
the life of the head, put it that way.
So they're not really a wear part.
No, they're not wear parts. No. Them rubber flappers you see down there at the end of the
Yes.
rows, them snouts, they're a wear thing. They get bent out of shape. They wear, you have to replace them.
Looks like a couple bolts hold them on.
Yes.
Probably a groove or something.
Just them 2 bolts.
Okay.
I had to replace them on the last head we had. They're plastic, and they get bent back as the rows, of course, as the corn's coming in, it pushes them back, and they seem to want to stay that way. They stay bent that way, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, the wind's clearing the chaff off for you.
Yep.
Must be some backdraft from the fans that I saw coming out the front. Or
Yes. The rotation of the rotor.
uh-huh.
off the combine, the dirt on the inside of the rotor or the cylinder kind of wants to fall to the bottom. And then when you start, well, then it stirs it all up again. That's why you have so much more dust.
What advice would you give a young man graduating from high school, thinking maybe of getting into farming? They'd almost have to do it with his family. It's so expensive nowadays.
Yes, you have to have somebody that's already established in it.
What advice would you give to a young man starting a family, starting farming?
You have to love to farm. If you don't like it, you better find something else to do. You're not going to get rich doing it.
A lot of outside influences you've got no control over.
Right.
What might some of those be?
The price you sell your grain for, the price of your inputs, fertilizer, fuel, machinery. You really don't have much control over it than Mother Nature. She can either make you or break you.
Now, Richard, when I was a kid, if you got 150 bushel, that was a great.
Well, that was a super yield.
Yes.
Yes.
Nowadays, you can't make a living at that, can you?
Not hardly, no. Everything is pushing 200, 250. A lot of places now, there these monitors on the combine that tells you how many yields you're getting. Why, that's a rock.
I felt it. Will he drop out the bottom?
There's a trap in front of the rotor that the beater will knock the rock into the trap. It's a little narrow thing about so wide.
If you hear that noise continually, you know you gotta stop and take the rock.
Yeah, it has you can open a door and it dumps it. Evidently you've been to combine and picked them up before.
Yes. They hide them traps too.
Yeah. They've improved the combines considerably over the years. Used to, if you get a rock in the feeder house like that, why, they would tear up the feeder house chain, bend the bars. Well, now, I picked up one there this morning that was probably a 10-pound rock and it got into the feeder house chain. You never even knew where it hit it. Just, they made them out of heavier stuff now that don't bend and break. That was a selling point on the feeder house on John Deere, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15, whatever it was. They had videos of shoving a big old 4x4 into the feeder house, see if you could break it. They chewed up the 4x4 so bad they put an angle iron on each corner so it wouldn't chew it up, but still it didn't hurt the feeder house. That's the alarm telling me that the grain tank is 3/4 full.
Now, Richard, you said your first real self-propelled combine was a Massey Harris?
It was a Massey Ferguson.
Massey Ferguson.
300, yes.
About what that cost?
Boy, I don't know. They didn't cost too much in $2,000-3,000, I'd say.
And corn price was how much a bushel?
Corn price is probably $1.50 maybe.
And what's corn today?
Today, in some places it's $4. The local elevator is about $3.80.
And what's an average combine with a bean head and a corn head cost?
You're looking at least $500,000. Yes, with both heads.
Twice the price, but 100 times the cost. 200 times the cost.
That's why I say if you're going to be a farmer, you got to love to farm. It ain't to make money. You have to enjoy what you're doing. I guess that's why I haven't retired yet.